Welcome back to Attorneys on Call. And once again, at any time during the program, you can call the 800 number on your screen or go to whitleylawfirm.com and your questions can be answered there. So a very fascinating show that we have today that we're continuing right now with Jan Gothard, who is a licensed adjuster. And Jan, what we talked about in that last segment at the end was we're going to talk about some real life examples of mistakes that people have made when talking to an adjuster or filing a claim. What do you think, in your experience, what's the #1 mistake people make?
Well, I think the #1 mistake at the beginning of the claim is a failure to call the police and get the claim.
Not calling the police.
And not calling the police. You need to get the accident on record. Even if it's a one-car accident, it needs to be on record with the police department. Yes.
Even if it's what people consider to be a fender bender or something like that, you still need to get the police involved?
Yes.
Okay.
It gives the claim validity.
Okay.
It documents who's involved, but there's no question about that. The adjuster will look more favorably on the claim if they have the police report to back up what the parties involved are telling them.
And is that also because then you can call that police officer and get information as an adjuster from the police? What happens in a case where they don't call the police? What kind of real life examples have you seen, problems that have arisen because of a failure to call the police?
A failure to call the police, again, it makes the claim undocumented.
Okay.
You don't necessarily know the parties involved. So if you're not at fault for the accident and there's no police report and you call your insurance company, they may not be able to locate the other person.
Oh.
So their ability to help you file a claim against the at-fault party would be diminished or gone.
Okay. So a lot of times we hear, you know that famous saying, we hear you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to just exchange insurance information with the person. And I've heard people say, well, if it's not over a $500 claim or something like that, you don't need to call the police, just exchange information. What you're saying is, no matter what, you really need to call the police.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
What would you say would be the #2 problem or mistake that people make when filing a claim?
Well, in the arena of injury, I think a #2 mistake would be not revealing to the adjuster prior injuries that you might have had from an auto accident or from an injury at work. The adjuster needs to know all of those things. You may want to hide that from the adjuster so that they look at your accident claim, in a different light, but it's important for the adjuster to know that because they will find it out one way or the other. It will be in your medical records, or it will be, there are internet databases that insurance companies use when you're injured in an accident to look at other injuries that you've had. So it's better to tell them up front so they're not finding it out down the road.
So the adjuster can go to that internet site and find out that, well, you know what, 2 years ago this person suffered an injured shoulder in a, okay.
And they didn't tell me about it.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So I think it harkens back to what you said earlier in the program about just being very truthful, right?
Right.
What happens in a case where someone just legitimately forgets to tell you something? Like maybe they legitimately forgot that they got injured 2 years ago in a wreck or something like that. What happens in that case?
Well, I mean, we're all human, and I think an adjuster would be understanding of that. I mean, should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen because you're emotionally distressed when you've just had an accident, and you might forget things. But as soon as you remember, better to go ahead and put it on record.
And I think what Jan is pointing out, to me, another great example of why you should have an experienced attorney representing you, because if you forget to say something or whatever, something slips through the cracks, your attorney is going to be there to help.
That's exactly right. And I know in my practice, I always emphasize to our clients, maintaining your credibility, which would be, being truthful, but at the same time, it also means not overreaching.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think all of those go towards credibility.
Right.
And, before our clients would give a recorded statement or have other interactions with the insurance company, we will talk with them and prepare them, not putting words in their mouth, but, helping them to understand, what questions they may face and how to answer them truthfully, but that comes with the experience of hiring a law firm who does these, who handles these types of claims. And I think that's a real benefit. You know, you can be a good witness for yourself,
Right.
you know, by not overreaching and not.
Well stated.
Yeah.
Now, Jan, you're working for the Richardson Law Firm
Yes, sir.
in Fayetteville.
Right.
Prior to that, you were working as an insurance adjuster. You
Right.
still are licensed. So when you were an adjuster, did you find that working with attorneys was much more favorable or an easier situation because they knew the rules, basically?
I loved working with attorneys when I was adjusting for the insurance companies. I also loved working directly with the claimants. So, you know, it was easier for me when there was an attorney involved because I didn't have to gather the medical evidence. It was presented in a packet to me, and it was much easier to assess the claim that way.
We've got about 30 seconds left, Dan. I'll let you wrap it up.
Yeah, so, you know, I think we've established here today, if you're involved in a serious accident where there's, you know, serious injuries involved, the best thing you can really do is contact an experienced law firm who handles these types of claims, who can gather all the resources for you, let you concentrate on the important things of getting better, and, you know, let us gather all the evidence and get it to the insurance company so we can get it wrapped up in your favor.
Very well said. And Jan, thanks so much for
You're
being with
welcome.
us today on the program. You've been watching Attorneys on Call. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time right here. Have a great one, everyone.